I want to send a quick thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
Using a Fuji camera is almost like driving a stick shift car, and using a Sony is almost like driving an automatic. I think that's a good comparison. I'll explain to you later on in the video what I mean by that. But my name is Manny Ortiz. I've been shooting Sony for 4 years. 2 of those years, I was an ambassador for Sony, but I recently left the program so I could diversify my YouTube channel. And not everybody shoots Sony, guys. I want to be able to create content that caters to many different users, and that's pretty much the reason why I got a Fuji XT3 in my hand right now. This camera is an absolute beast on the spec sheet, but we all know specs often lie. And I want to see if this camera is as good as it's touted to be on a spec sheet. This video is all about the experience using this camera from a Sony user's perspective, some of the pros and cons. I'm going to show you a little portrait shoot that I did with this camera, and just excuse the quality, I shot on a GoPro 7. It was raining out. What can I do?
Hey, why must you do this to me? It was supposed to snow today. Supposed to snow. I got a model coming. She's on her way. We always kill it. Every photo shoot we do, we kill it. But I don't know about today. Conditions are not looking favorable. I'm shooting with a Fuji X-T3, the first time I'm shooting with this camera with a 56 1.2 with no lens hood. Damn it, I should have brought a lens hood. Damn. I don't have a microfiber cloth. It's gonna get wet, yo. It's gonna get really wet out here. So, you know, models be late sometimes, and I was here like waiting like 30 minutes. I'm about to pee my pants. I got a Sony hat and everything, shooting a Fuji. Ain't that something? What do you have to say for yourself?
Dude, it's bad out there. First of all, I'm not dying for you today, Manny.
Right there, bam. I already see my first comp. First comp. Here we go. 1, 2. Eye autofocus is pretty sweet. Yeah, let me adjust something really quick. How do I check my histogram on here?
You can check your Instagram?
No, a histogram. You said you get some full body.
One thing I noticed right away about the Fuji was its responsiveness. Now, I understand the 56 1.2 isn't the fastest focusing lens, but I found it to be pretty good.
All right, here we go. Pretty much all the same background, but let me get one right here.
All right, did you see how I was walking with my eye in the viewfinder? That's actually one of the ways that I find compositions. So when I see something that I like inside my camera, that's when I'll go ahead and place the model in that frame. That's a quick tip.
You should have told me I would have brought my hitchhiking boots. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a snowshoe.
I didn't know you were coming like that.
We come into a forest reserve and it's a snowshoe. You about to breathe some flats? So far, I mean, I really like the camera. Eye autofocus is really responsive. I don't think that it's as responsive as the Sony, in my opinion, so far, but it's really accurate, really nice so far. But oh. All right, hold on. I don't know if I like the aperture ring on the lens, just like any other, even Sony. I'm not a fan of the aperture ring on the lens because I'm always bumping it, but it is what it is. My idea is to see, because we're more elevated. She's gonna be right here, and I'm gonna shoot from a little bit lower angle. It's gonna be like, you know, kind of a surreal shot where she's a little bit higher, closer to the trees, you know, closer to the top of the trees. That's the idea. Damn, my lens is. Yeah. You're not supposed to do this. Oh no.
Okay, lesson number 1, don't try this at home. All you're gonna do is smudge up the water and possibly scratch your lens, but I was a little desperate. Also, I never looked into the weather sealing of this camera, but man, like, it was completely soaked and it held up pretty well, so that was pretty impressive.
Good. Love it. Hey, get your Kmart commercial head ass. She busted out the...
Because my lens was completely covered in water, I got a really hazy image there on the left. It took some processing, but I think I got a decent result on the right.
Doing here, what I'm gonna do here is use those brown leaves to add a little color and kind of composer in the middle there. There's like a little gap. So move a little bit to your left. Right there. Yeah, a little bit to your right. Right there. Take that one braid off the top of your, right there. Yeah, you're good. There you go. Good. I'm gonna shoot from low angles.
Guys, I'm here dying. Manny here in his hitchhiker boots, snow pants.
You're not supposed to record me.
He came ready today.
So that's the comp. I'm gonna try to see. Yeah, I might shoot it at from a good. Okay, so how about for this one we could lose the jacket for a couple of shots? Just for a couple.
Sit on snow.
Good. Love it.
You know when I said that when using a Fuji camera, it's like driving a stick-shift car, what I meant by that was the process of creating a photo with this camera, it's a lot more engaging, right? And that's very important because this camera makes you want to go out and take pictures. I can see why Fuji shooters love their camera so much. I mean, it's a sexy little camera. I love the ergonomics and it makes you want to go out and take pictures. That's so important. Think about it. Like having gear that makes you actually want to go out and use it and it's fun, that plays a pretty big part in, you know, in the gear that you choose. And I can see why people love this camera so much. Now, not everything's all good though. I'll be honest. Let me give you guys some pros and cons of some of the things that I noticed when shooting this camera in the real world. Now, number one, I love the eye autofocus. I'm a big fan. That's why I started shooting Sony, and that's why I stuck with Sony, because of the eye autofocus. As a portrait photographer, it's so important. I don't got to worry about anything. I just got to hold down a button, and there's a little box over. I mean, it's almost like a Grand Theft Auto cheat code. So I was really happy to see that in this camera. Now, when it comes to the Aps-C sensor, people tout the colors and the image quality coming out of this camera. I'm used to the A6500, the Sony crop sensor version. The colors are not great on that camera. The color science is a lot better in the full frame cameras. And I can say 100%, the color science in the Fuji is better than the A6500, the crop sensor variant on the Sony. The color science is beautiful. The images are beautiful. This 56 1.2, if I own this camera, if I ever bought this camera, this is the lens I'm buying. I mean, it's a magical combo. And it's nice and light. I really like that. A lot of people choose to shoot Fuji for the manual dials up top and the ergonomics, and I have a love and hate kind of relationship with these dials. I like using them. Like I said, I feel more engaged in the process. The thing is, I can't even imagine shooting a wedding and having to make quick adjustments with these dials. It's just something that I feel would be kind of cumbersome. But then again, a seasoned Fuji shooter doesn't even have to look, right? It's muscle memory. They know what to do. So you can kind of just disregard that. But for people that are just starting, just understand that it's kind of a learning curve, being able to, you know, remember what's what and remember what direction to turn your dial, you know, just something to keep in mind. All right, now let me tell you some of the things that I didn't like about shooting with this camera. There are not many, but there's one that's an absolute deal breaker for me specifically. Having to use Capture One. This camera, you're not gonna get the best quality editing out of Lightroom. You get artifacts in your images, and I seen it. So I downloaded Fujifilm for Capture One Fujifilm. And I understand Capture One has better raw processing, and I can see it. I can see it for myself, but I just don't like the interface of Capture One. I have my workflow set, and for the people out there that have their workflow, you know, set, you don't want to have to learn a new software. This is going to be a hard switch for you. Other than that, another thing that I wanted to mention was the IAF. So remember, I said I love that it has IAF, but I noticed it is not as accurate as the Sony eye autofocus. I noticed I had a lot more. Not a lot more, but I did have more autofocus shots where the eye wasn't in perfect focus. So, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's really hard to beat that Sony IAF on the A7 III and A7R III and A9. Seriously, it is. At the end of the day, this camera exceeded my expectations in the field. It really did. And again, I would buy this camera, not switch from Sony. I would add it to my Sony system. Having to use Capture One is kind of pulling me back a little bit, But don't let it pull you back, because Capture One's actually a great program. It's just for me, I'm set in my workflow. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is a magical combo though. If you are a Fuji shooter, you don't own this lens, and you want to shoot portraits. All right, everyone, that is all I have for today. I just want to send a quick shout out to my sponsor, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. If you're looking for a website, blog, or an online store, make sure to check out Squarespace. If you use the coupon code Manny, you'll get 10% off your first purchase. I've been using them for years. What can I say? They're amazing. Super easy to set up, and even if you get tired of design, I just changed my design. A couple clicks, changed my entire design, and it did everything for me. It's great. So link will be down below in the description box, and I'll see you in the next one. Right, Lily? Next one? Oh my God, you shed so much.